Live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe tapping, hand clapping, down home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central. Tune in to Talking Law with attorney Daryl O'Neill and the special guest host, attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk on your digital device on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question? Our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
Welcome to Talking Law with Daryl O'Neill. I'm your host. I got my main man Jerome with me.
What's up, Daryl?
Man, another day in the neighborhood. Man, why you cut the heat on, bro?
Man.
Good. Googly muggly, man. You don't cut the air on up south.
But you know, it's January. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to get a little
Man, it was kind of nice for a minute.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And we're going back to nice, too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Hopefully. So, we're going to put the number up today again.
All right.
We got to start the year off
All
right,
right.
y'all. Got to get these free calls in. But if you are watching YouTube, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's Roku TV, Fire Stick, Apple TV, or the SVP TV Network app.
All right.
Man, that's bad there,
Yes,
boy. A
yes.
network app.
That's a mouthful, too.
Any of those things, you can call in, and we'll answer any question that you have. And it doesn't matter what topic we're talking about.
That's right.
And we'll answer whatever question. So with that in mind, got to give our shout-outs, Jerome.
Okay.
Let's give our shout-outs to California, man. We getting way on the West Coast.
Man, is all that flooding and stuff impacting your son?
He hadn't really said much about it, man. He talking about skateboarding, so I guess he all right. We got to say welcome to to Little Rock,
Yes.
Arkansas. Welcome to West Memphis, Arkansas. Welcome to Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee. Welcome to Mississippi. And Mom, welcome to the great state of Missouri.
All right.
All right now.
Yes.
So last week we were talking about bankruptcy, fresh starts, credit rebuilding.
Right.
And so we said we owed you part two.
Right.
On that issue. So part two, Jerome, let's talk about it.
Okay, Daryl.
Can we put the number up? Okay. I'm sorry. Don't throw no rocks at me.
Because we really want you to call.
We do.
Yes.
We do. So, Jerome, we talked about, man, and we spent a lot of time on this because the hard part of it is, if you have the new law, I always call it the new law because it ain't new no more.
No. We've been doing it for a while now, Daryl.
Almost 15 years now.
17 years now.
But, the law that took me out of bankruptcy.
Yes.
Because what it did, they really made it a little tighter.
Well, they call it the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention. BAPSIPA, yeah, that's what it's called, Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention Charter or something to that effect.
Yeah, and
and it did change. It changed the whole narration because there were probably some abuses there. And that's really what happens a lot of times. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, somebody will come in and abuse it, and then they try and fix it, and they make it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where we are now. We're in the worst. But those of us who stayed in the practice learn how to navigate our way through it. And so that's where we are now, is navigating. But then there, like you said, last week we spent a lot of time getting here because of preparation. Proper preparation makes good presentation.
Ooh,
that's what we are.
Man, that's. I can't tell you how many times I heard my coach say something like that.
Right.
Or even my father, man.
Right.
But the thing was, and look, I think about it, and it does make a little sense. because it was saying, hey, look, have you done everything you could before you file bankruptcy?
Absolutely.
Have you talked to the creditors? Have you tried to do debt relief programs and different things of that nature? So I get that.
Right.
But what we left off last week was the problem with the debt relief programs and all the talking to the creditors is they don't want to talk to me.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to
You
Joe
know
Smunk. They don't want to talk to Pookie.
Because in the law and contractual law we have something called bilateral agreements.
Right.
But we couldn't get them to talk.
Right.
So it was never bilateral. It was just almost like we were going with hand and with the handkerchief in your hand and bowing down and
Right.
stuff, asking a creditor to do something that you already knew.
Well, they should do. I mean, look, I've been paying this debt for 5 years
Yes.
at 18 or 20% interest.
That's right.
Now I'm struggling. You can't reduce my interest.
That's right.
You can't, put some payments on the back end.
Right.
You can't, do something for me. Then you gonna force me to file bankruptcy?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Basically, that's where it was. When you are at your wit's end, you have no choice but to try to protect yourself. Because no one is going to look out for you better than you will look out for yourself. And so we've called the creditor. We've tried the snowball, thing where you pay off the smallest credit card, and then you try to work your way up to the top one. But now I'm at my wit's end because this card is 26%. And these cars that a lot of people buy in Memphis, I really believe that these car lots are probably the biggest driver of bankruptcies in Memphis than any other thing, other than maybe rent. And before the minimum wage change, it hasn't changed on the books.
It ain't changed on the book,
But
it COVID changed though. it done COVID increased.
Right, right.
It ain't changed, but it's done
right,
COVID.
right. So you wouldn't dare even offer somebody $7.25 an hour. It's almost like what? You probably get shot.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna take it.
Anybody gonna take it? Right. Right.
Ain't nobody gonna take it.
Right.
And they probably the ones that I get it. Okay, let me just say that first.
Okay.
I get it. Because if you were making $7 an hour and you were grown folk, you can't pay your bills.
Well, Dad, we talked about it many times.
You can't pay
I
your
mean,
bills.
you actually pulled out the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It was impossible to make ends meet.
And look, between and as much as I hate to say this out loud, even at $10 an hour.
That's right.
Because at $10 an hour, that's $400 a week.
That's right.
Before taxes, right?
Right.
That's $1,600 a month.
That's right.
Before taxes, and then if you do that times 12, that is right around 18,000.
Yeah.
That's right around 18,000.
There.
No, it's not 18. That ain't 18,000.
Well, that's less than that.
16.
Well,
no, that's 1,600 times 10 is
let's make it simple.
16,000.
Let's make it simple. $1,000 a month would be $12,000 a year.
Right.
All right. So then add another 500. That would be 18, wouldn't it?
16.
16.
16.
Okay, 600.
Another
Okay.
600.
Yeah,
So
that's
600
right.
times 10 would be 16,000.
That's right.
And then another 1,200 on that.
That's right.
I'm sorry, another 3,200.
Another. What we trying to get to 18?
18, no, so it would be 19. Be 19 too.
Okay.
So
All right.
if I got one.
Got a call?
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So there they heard you tonight.
All right. So the question, man, this is a good question.
Okay.
Here, Jerome. You will love this.
All right.
Will I lose my house or car after I file bankruptcy?
Well, it depends. But a good practitioner will never put you in that position where you would be in a position where you might lose your house or car. So several things can happen. All right, depends on, there's a chapter 7 and a chapter 13. So if your car is paid off and it's valued over $20,000, there may be an issue. But
I don't
most
know
people
somebody
don't.
gonna have who gonna be filing Chapter 13 with a car that's valued over $20,000.
That's why I'm telling you. So
Yeah.
that's probably not going to happen.
Okay.
All right. And so also, well, I'm glad for that call, because there's something in bankruptcy called exemptions.
Okay.
And what that means is that you can exempt up to $10,000 worth of cash, merchandise, or goods. So unless you have $10,000 sitting in the bank, you're not going to reach the threshold for exemption. But the one I was trying to get to there is now, it used to be that there was only $5,000 worth of homestead.
That was what I thought you was
Exemption.
gonna say with homestead
Yeah,
exemption.
homestead exemption. It was only $5,000. And what that means, audience, is that if, say, your house was valued, just to make it simple, say your house was valued at $50,000. Okay. And you only owe 45 on it. So that means that they wouldn't be able to attach your house because there's not enough equity in the home to make it worthwhile going after. But now, and then if it was a couple there, it was only $7,500. So they thought they were being generous. They raised it up to $12,500 if you were over the age of 62.
12.5 per person.
If you're over the age of 62.
Okay.
All right. But now it's $35,000.
Well, that's a good.
Homestead.
Yeah, now that's all right.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Now is that? But that's period.
Wonderful, yeah, $35,000 for an individual. But if it's a couple, and they raised that some time ago, with minor children, it's $25,000 each. So you could have $50,000 worth of equity saved in your home. So no, audience, there are a ton of ways to avoid you losing anything, because there's a misnomer there.
Well,
in
and
the
wait a minute.
community.
I'm glad you said that, but let me ask this question,
Okay.
John. Creditors don't want to own cars, and they don't want to own houses.
They're
right?
not in the business of doing that.
So they're going to try to work
And-
something out.
and
Yeah.
In fact, when you drive by the car lot, it's cars all over the place. So why would they want another car?
They
sitting
don't want it
on-
back, yeah.
And the misnomer is that their bankruptcy is designed to take your stuff away. Nobody wants your stuff. Let me just be clear. Let me be clear about that. Because the creditors are interested in selling cars.
Yeah, right. They ain't trying to buy. They ain't trying to buy no
Because
more.
they got to put it up in storage. They got to try to take care of it, keep the thieves from taking it.
Yeah.
So no, they don't want that job. So it's designed to help you get to your fresh start.
Okay. But Jerome, here's what I see a lot.
Okay.
You know, somebody says, I bought this car, right? I don't really want to file bankruptcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bought this car. I don't really want to file bankruptcy. I can't afford this car. So I'm going to turn it back in.
Oh,
Then they turn the car back in. You know, the owner or the dealer or whomever, the bank, whatever, they don't want to own the car. So they undervaluedly sell the car at an auction for $1.50. It's a $35,000 car. They sell it for $1.50 in the auction. And then they come after you for the difference of what you owe.
that's exactly right there. That's a very good point. And so the worst thing that you couldn't do is to outsmart yourself by I'm going to take the car back and give it back to him because I can't afford it. But you've given away your bargaining chip. The bargaining chip is in exchange for me giving the car back, because they much rather have something out of the deal. Would you agree that I'm not going to be responsible for any deficiency balance?
Right.
You see, that's how it goes.
Okay.
And so there, what they do is the several car lots already are working in tangible. And so when your car is brought back, I'll buy it from you for far less than what the market value is, and you do the same thing for me. So they switch back and forth. I personally believe that these used car dealers are one of the main reasons why bankruptcies are so high in our area there. Because because the public transportation in Memphis is horrendous.
Right. And that's being nice.
You'll be sitting there waiting on the bus until it's time for you to get off from work rather than being able to get to work.
Yeah.
So the public transportation does not work. So people will do anything. They will beg, borrow, and steal trying to get to work. Okay? And they ought to be commended for that. So they take their income tax refund, put it down on a vehicle, $3,800, $4,000, $5,000, and that's probably the only payment that the car dealer will get. They'll come back and repossess the vehicle, sell it to Joe Blow for the same amount they sold it to you, picked up another $3,500, and then they are able to sue you for the deficiency balance.
Good gracious.
And they can pursue you for 10 years, still interest, because there's something called pre-judgment interest, and post-judgment interest.
Yeah.
So by the time they finally start ready to try to collect, this $15,000 car has now ballooned to $30,000. And you don't have a choice but to pay it because the judgment's there.
So the second question, man, I like this.
Okay.
The second question was, how much will it cost for a person to file bankruptcy?
Okay, again, see, and that's the issue there. There are so many bankruptcies out there. There's a Chapter 7, a Chapter 11, a Chapter 12, a Chapter 13, and a Chapter 9. Okay, so it depends on which one of them that you are able to file.
But most
Individuals, most people will do a Chapter 7 or a 13. So
But 7s are hard though.
7 is the one that you talked about
Yeah.
from BAPSIPA.
Right.
Right. But a 7, many times, a lot of times people in Memphis wind up filing Chapter 13s because they cannot afford to pay the money to do a Chapter 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Chapter 7s, there's no way for the attorney to get paid other than being paid up front.
And what are they charging up front?
Mostly anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 to do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Man, if you owe $20,000 or $30,000, man, you to come up with $1,500 to get rid of $30,000.
But you got to have it all at one time, or you have to figure out a way to
I got
do
enough
it.
pennies. I got enough change to come up with $1,500.
And that's the smart thing to go and get it out of the way because the debt load is probably greater than $10,000. I don't even want to file a bankruptcy case unless you have more than $10,000 worth of unsecured debt, because once you file one, you're not able to file another one for 8 years.
So it used to
Only
be
one Chapter 7 every 8 years.
because that's a change too, right?
That's the BAPSIPA change.
okay. Because was it 7 years? It was 6 or 7?
It used to be you could file them back to back,
Ooh.
and that's what BAPSIPA changed by putting that limit on there. Now you can do a Chapter 13 pretty much anytime you want to, but you won't be able to get what we call a discharge. But at least you'll get the relief from phone calls. You get the relief from excessive interest. You get the relief by cutting down your car note.
But you said this to me before, and maybe I misunderstood it a
Okay.
long time ago. I thought you could file bankruptcies back to back. For instance, you could file a 7 and then come back and file a 13.
Sure you can.
You just can't file a 7 and a 7.
That's right. But see, the difference there is you could do it, but you can't get the discharge.
Okay.
See, the whole idea is to get a discharge, which means that you still owe the money, but it's not collectible.
Right. That's the 7.
That's the 7.
Okay.
Now, the 13, you can file a 13 to get the relief that we talked about. You could pay into a 13 for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months, or 60 months. 60 months is the maximum time that you can be into a Chapter 13. But in the meantime, you've reduced your car note, you've reduced the interest, you just won't get a discharge for the remaining of your unsecured debt.
Now, the I've seen scenarios where people have filed Chapter 13s, and their payment in the 13 is more than the damn debt they got.
No. What happens there is, we hear this all the time. Is,
I've
how
heard
much,
it.
how much am I going to have to pay?
Why my debt so high?
Well, that's when you have to make a decision about what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
What
see,
you're going to keep and what you're going to
That's
give
exactly
away.
right. We call it the come to Jesus meeting. When I have to sit down and tell the client, you really can't afford to have a 2022 Lexus. You follow me? You just can't afford.
Right.
I see it out there in the parking lot. That joint is sharp, but you can't afford it.
Right. You
So
can
what
get
you
that
can,
mother back.
what you can do then is surrender it and get you a hoopty. You know, or
Because that's why your note's going to be high.
that's exactly right. And then you're living in an apartment, and your rent is $1,000 a month, $1,200
Which
a
it's got to
month.
go into that payment.
You must catch your rent up. You know, or your house note. And so sometimes you have to downsize. You've lost a job, spouse, and usually most people are honest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we say in the bankruptcy world, is that the honest but unfortunate debtor
Mm-hmm.
is in need of relief. So most people want to pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen adults actually cry about being in a position where they can't pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the first things they say, Mr. Payne, I've always paid my bills on time. But since I had that accident at work, you follow me?
And I ain't getting my regular
That's
paycheck.
right, that's right. And they haven't started giving me my unemployment or my workers' comp payment. And then it's only, 66 and 2/3% of what I
But
used
it's
to make.
yeah, but 66 and 2/3, but taxes are not taken out of it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So now I'm in a position where I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is ill, or, you know, and usually the divorce, you see a lot of problems with people who are getting divorced. So you go from a 2-family income to a 1-family income, and it certainly doesn't spread as much as it used to.
Got
So-
one.
okay.
Got one more question.
Sure.
How long will a bankruptcy be on somebody's credit report?
That's another very good question. I like this caller here. You ask very good questions, caller. So, all right. So it's 10 years for a Chapter 7 on your credit report. It's 7 years for a Chapter 13, I'm told. But I'm also told that you can buy a house 2
right.
years
Yeah.
after you come out of a Chapter 7.
Duh, and I know why.
Right.
You ain't got no debt.
That's
Number one, you ain't got no debt.
right.
See,
And so what did it hurt?
well, you know
In
what,
fact,
Jerome?
it helped there, didn't
That
it?
is the absolute misnomer about filing bankruptcy.
Right.
The first thing somebody says, I filed bankruptcy, I can't get.
I can't get nothing.
I can't get nothing. I can't get. You a lie. You a lie. You get everything.
They're not lying. They're just mistaken.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I forgot about my harshness. I forgot. Because you can get everything.
And anything. In fact, Daryl, 30 days after a bankruptcy case is filed, it's something called the meeting of creditors comes about. People are getting
In line to give you some
credit
credit.
notices all along that whole pathway, trying to get you back bound again. And so you have to resist being pulled back in again, you know, like people are trying to hook you
You
again.
have no debt.
Right.
All your debt just got wiped away.
That's exactly right.
Number two, regardless of wherever you finance, I'm gonna get paid for 7 years because you can't file
That's
bankruptcy again.
exactly right. Right again.
And then number three, I can charge you high interest rate because you got a bad history.
You right again, Daryl.
So I want you to come to me after you file bankruptcy.
That's exactly
Because
right.
normally you come to me, I gotta haggle and give you 3%, 4%, 2%, 1%. You come out of bankruptcy, I say, hey, dog, I need 15% for
And then I'm afraid you're not going to pay me, but But because you filed bankruptcy, there is no relief left for you.
Yeah.
Again, so you are going to.
I'm gonna get my money. Like you gonna pay me.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't agree with people saying that the likelihood of getting something after they file bankruptcy doesn't exist. I think the likelihood is substantially greater.
I think you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
In fact, the software that we use predicts what your credit score is now and what it will be in 12 months from now.
Oh.
And it's a substantial change.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Well, it can't be nothing but good. you don't own no vice.
That's exactly right.
I mean, if you file bankruptcy correctly,
Right.
and don't reaffirm all that bad debt.
There you go.
Because, in a Chapter 7, you can reaffirm all that debt. They'll let you reaffirm
And
it.
that's exactly right. So you pile it right back on
Why
yourself.
would I do that?
And one more thing there right quick. Do never, ever do a home equity loan to pay off credit card debt
Yeah.
because now you've changed this unsecured debt to a secured
Right,
debt.
right,
So
right.
don't do that. It's a mistake.
All right, y'all. Man, we gave y'all, this is 2 days of a topic, strong topic. Hey, caller, thanks for calling in. We got your questions. Appreciate you. And we want y'all to do more of this next week.
Right.
Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you back next week.
Happy King Day.
Oh, my goodness. Happy King Day.
Yeah.
You're talking about a good time shield. When we all come on now. Stop.
Center Stage Gospel Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe tapping, hand clapping, down home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central.
Ladies, do you feel feminine during your feminine flow? Your monthly cycle, your period? In silence, the suffering is over. It's 10.9%. Ladies, let's protect the most precious jewel in the world, you.
Rain Premium Sanitary Napkins do not